I chose to analyze scene 9 of our film, which is the last scene of Zhongzhe learning Chinese before the funeral. In this scene, Zhongzhe is alone, diligently practicing reading the Chinese eulogy ahead of the ceremony. The overall visual setup is very simple, but precisely because the actions and elements are limited, the composition and technical treatment of the frame become especially focused and clear, using minimal visuals and movements to convey emotion. The following discussion will examine the visual presentation of this scene and the design choices we made during filming. First is the framing. In this shot, Zhongzhe is consistently enclosed within the physical structure of the room, staying inside a relatively confined rectangular space formed by the window, the walls, and the cabinet. The space functions like a natural frame that places Zhongzhe in the center of the composition. This type of framing creates a quiet, contained image and reinforces the inward, introspective quality of the moment. At this point, Zhongzhe has already understood his father's good intentions. He can no longer read the eulogy merely for the sake of earning money, yet after years of resentment toward his father, he is not emotionally ready to acknowledge the change that has already begun inside him. His growing sense of longing is starting to surface. The use of this framing structure therefore conveys his suppressed emotions with particular clarity. At the same time, the character's overall color tone is noticeably darker than the environment, forming a unified dark shape, while the background walls, window, and bed remain in lighter and neutral tones. This contrast in color blocks allows Zhongzhe to remain the visual focus even though he occupies a relatively small portion of the frame. Sitting near the center, he does not appear prominent. Instead, his small scale creates the sense that he is being absorbed by the surrounding space. This visual impression of being engulfed directly echoes his emotional state. The longing has already emerged, and he is enveloped by it, yet he is not ready to fully confront these feelings. As a result, he appears somewhat isolated and lacking the strength to reach outward. In the initial color design, we developed a clear lighting plan for this scene. We wanted the overall environment of the home to feel slightly cold and dim, while placing a warm yellow desk lamp inside the room. This contrast between cool and warm tones reflects Zhongzhe's internal conflict. He is gradually understanding his father, yet he remains caught in complicated emotions. At the same time, the warm light symbolizes both loneliness in the darkness and a faint sense of hope. During shooting, we largely followed the original plan. We placed lights outside the window to let a cool-toned light spill inward, and positioned a warm desk lamp near the window, matching the cold-warm contrast of our reference images. In the final version, we refined the light direction even further. The cool exterior light falls on Zhongzhe's back, while the warm desk lamp illuminates his face. This distribution of light suggests a shift in his emotional state. Through learning Chinese, he has formed a friendship with Xiaomai and is gradually reaching understanding and reconciliation with his father. He is beginning to leave behind the stagnant, resentment-filled darkness of his past and move toward a healthier, more grounded life, along with the love that comes from his father. At the same time, the cool light still takes up a larger portion of the frame, signaling that Zhongzhe has not yet fully accepted this internal change. It is not until the funeral scene that he experiences genuine clarity and transformation. We used a J-cut between scene 8 and scene 9. In scene 8, at the moment when Xiaomai encourages Zhongzhe to keep learning Chinese and he nods in response, the sound of him practicing the Chinese text from scene 9 begins to fade in early. Only afterward does the image cut to him practicing alone.
别担心那么多了，相信你自己。
父亲的人生。
This early entrance of sound creates a smoother, more natural transition, and the J-cut strengthens narrative continuity by carrying the action of learning Chinese from the previous scene into the next one, turning it into a key thread that drives the character's development. Overall, Scene 9 uses composition, lighting, and editing to precisely convey the subtle shifts in Zhongzhe's inner state, providing essential support for the film's emotional build-up and the character's development.